So I wanted to start with the presentation on maps that Kevin Fairchild delivered. And again, you can get to the slide deck right here and you can have access to this. He did a wonderful job. He talked about a lot of different things. I'm just going to briefly talk about my maps, but he has a ton of different things here. Google Earth, and it works on Chromebooks. Love that. In our district, we have a ton of Chromebooks, so that works, right? Street View, Arts and Culture. Arts and Culture was interesting because it drops you into one of many museums, and then you can really zoom in on a painting and really get a feel for what that artist drew. And it's a wonderful way to include that as part of your adventure outside of your classroom. Expeditions, kind of the same. You can build pathways for kids to kind of go in and explore on their own, and you kind of dictate the path that they take. But I'm just going to focus on my maps because it was one of the easier ones to kind of get to, and it's really powerful, but at the same time it's basic, and which I like. I know that's an oxymoron. So you can do something like this where you're asking anybody to do vacation spots, right? Their name, what's your favorite vacation, what year you visited, and then why do you like this place? So the reason we create content like this, or we create this form, is because then we're going to take that information and put it into My Maps. And so here is My Maps, right? I've already dropped a layer right here, and I started putting starting point 1, which is Palm Springs. So you'll see that you can go ahead and change different things. You can say this is home. You can change the color of the icon if that matters to you. And then you can add images to it and then add text. Now that's really where I think in the classroom it makes sense, because I can add as much text as I want here, or have the students add text, right? So if I created a form and I asked them to tell me their favorite location, tell me where, a different part of that area that they learned about, they explored it, and they found a little tidbit of information, put in the Google form, then I can drop that all inside of My Maps, and then we can all see what everyone got to explore in the real world. And so really, really cool to see that. Now, I thought this was even more interesting when you zoom out of this map here, right? You could see something like the United States compared to Greenland, right? And Greenland in this map looks massive, right? But here's what My Maps allows you to do. I can take a line here, and I'm going to do my best to kind of trace this out, because that's, and again, I'm do as best as I can here for the time. I'm tracing out the size of this, and on maps we all know that they're relative and not exactly drawn to scale. But what My Maps allows you to do is really adjust for the actual size. So you look at that size right there. We're going to call this Greenland, right? And so now I have my little map there. And then you see Texas all the way down here. Now, what's really cool is when I take this and I actually try and compare it to the size of Texas, right? It shrunk a little bit, because now we're getting to see Greenland in its actual size compared to Texas, as opposed to just saying that it's massive. And so this is, if you drew a better job, it'll give you the square miles and the perimeter around that particular shape that you drew. So I'm going to drop my little Greenland there, but that is a wonderful way to really talk about if you in a math class you want to talk about shape, or area, surface area, or perimeter. You have a real life example that you can kind of compare information based off of the Google Maps here. You even have a ruler here if you wanted to do the path from one place to another, from Las Vegas to Denver to South Dakota, and then to Minnesota. So you have these really, really neat features in here. Now, again, the power that I'm trying to talk about here is not necessarily the tool itself, because I feel like there's tons and tons of tools. It's the idea of getting this in front of your students, right? Have them create it. Give them this option to show you their learning through a different medium, as opposed to just saying, here's this this component that I always use. And again, what you always use is probably great, but if you wanted to switch it up and give them something different, we have that option here in My Maps. It is available to all of you guys that are interested in doing this, because it is a Google product, and all of your students also have access to it because they also have Google accounts. So quick little overview. I know I didn't spend too much time, but obviously at any time, if you're interested in reaching out to me, you can always reach out to me at Tectoso or eRivera and schedule a time to talk about more in depth on any of these topics that we talk about. With that, have a nice day.